Welcome. We are here today to discuss Anandamangalam Anjaneyer, the dosham associated, the one that he will relieve us of. In a case study, this person was born sometime in 2005. Sun is in Gemini, so we know the person is born sometime in after June 15th or so. So now we have we don't know about the placement of the nodes, the lunar nodes, Rahu and Ketu. Here we have on the left we have Rahu placed in when Sun would pass March 15th. That's the position of Meena, which is Pisces, right? Now, from Pisces, on the opposite side, in Virgo, in Kanya, you will see Ketu being placed. This is on the left, correct? Now, do we know that this is actually the position? This is there is another alternative where Ketu is featured in Pisces and Rahu is featured in Virgo, right? So we'll have to check. Courtesy NASA. Let's look at the eclipse. This is the path of the moon. It's a solar eclipse. April 8th, 2005. So if you notice, April is near Pisces when Sun is in Pisces. April 8th is definitely in Pisces. So notice that near the greatest eclipse, the shadow of the moon goes up. Consider the sun and all the planets to be in a table, right? On dinner, like a dinner table, right? The sun is the center, everybody is going around. This table is called the ecliptic, right? Now, let's say Earth, around Earth you have a big plate. This is the orbit of the moon. This plate is slanted slightly by 5 degrees to the ecliptic. Let's not confuse this with the 23 degree, 24 degree tilt of the Earth's axis to the ecliptic. This is only the moon's orbit. It's around the Earth and it's a plate that is a little tilted. A part of the plate is above the table, a part of the other rest of it is below the table. So the plate of the moon, I mean dinner plate, it's really small around Earth, right? It's not the entire table. Now, it is tilted 5 degrees and where the orbit, the perimeter of the plate crosses the table, when it goes from north to south, that node is determined as Rahu, and the one that is from south to north, by convention we say this is Moksha node, and that is Ketu. Rahu is when you dive down from reality to under the table dealings and things like that. That's Rahu. Here is another eclipse. 2005 there was a solar eclipse. This is October 3rd, which is an eclipse where we have the shadow of the moon going from northern hemisphere to southern hemisphere. The reason why we have to study this is because it is not easy to determine which way this shadow will go. That is because Earth's axis is 23 degrees tilted, and sometimes the moon crosses over the pole and so on, because it's very high in its 5 degree tilt, right? Always the eclipse happens when the moon is very close to one of the nodes. And the sun is on the other side. So you have Earth, and then you have the moon's shadow being cast on Earth, and then you have the sun in the middle of the ecliptic, and these have to align sort of very close to the node, which is when the sun and moon align. Otherwise, you have partial eclipses, you have up to 15 degrees, and then there is nothing. You just have what we call Amavasya. So at October, we see the node Rahu, which is placed near Kanya, right? Now let's look at this native chart. after we do all this verification. Now we have these small loops marked around certain planets, right? I mean, you have a planet at 29 degrees, and then you have a planet at 27 degrees, Mercury, right? So, and then you have Ketu, Rahu themselves marked at 27 degrees. I mean, it is very close to 30. Depending on the almanac you use, right? You may have Rahu being put in here or in the next house. 27 degrees is very close to the next house. But Rahu is retrograde all the time, which means it was there earlier in this almanac, right? That is why we look at all the possibilities in IQ Astro, so that we don't leave out any of these events, right? Now, because Rahu is marked in Kanya does not mean this person will not have a dosham where Rahu is marked up there in Meena, right? There are some doshams that happen with Rahu, Mars hitting Mercury, and those things will happen as well for this person. It may not be so Rahu, Ketu are simply nodes, and they are interchangeable. This interchanging mechanism is because of the Earth's angle. The plate that is inclined to the ecliptic spins slowly 18.5 to 19 years, and that's where we mark Rahu and Ketu. But then there is also the angle that the Earth's axis makes to the ecliptic, and that, if that were perpendicular, you will never have the moon going over the pole, right? But I mean, we do see moon path, the shadow of the moon go over the pole. There are eclipses. You can see NASA's pictures. Now this person, if you notice, let's talk a little bit about this person's natal chart. Now Lagnam or Brahma is positioned, and then Mars has a couple of stripes on it. So when you have, Mars is a planet of action, and when you have Saturn on one side using its 10th aspect heading Mars, and then you have Ketu right there with Mars. Ketu is opposed to Mars. Ketu is described as the buffalo. It's described like that because it's prone to inaction, and it will not yield to many things that you do. So there are some good aspects to it. It bears knowledge, yet there is inaction at gross proportions. Now, when Mars is a action-oriented, short-tempered, Mars gets things done in a haste. So it's one of the houses owned by Mars is Scorpio, which stings, right? So it changes life real fast. So Mars has a habit, very impulsive in nature, right? Whereas Ketu is very dormant, and that is right there a downer for Mars. Now Saturn from somewhere else is hitting from the house of documents, from the house fourth house, which is fourth house is from Brahma. You count 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 is where Saturn is situated, and it's hitting Mars in the 10th aspect. Now again, there is also Mercury. Mercury is a dangerous beast because Mercury does a lot of evasive stuff. It is a very good presenter, but it also presents truth as close to false, and false like truth. That's humor. See, all that is not appreciated by Mars, so all that is a downer. So Saturn carries Mercury taste with it, and it hits Mars. So basically, like I said, Saturn vitiates Mars with the taste of Mercury. Mars is blood. So now the position that we have the Lagnam sitting is the position close to ankles, feet, 22 degrees inside Pisces. So this person has supports, steel supports, shoes that she wears. It's a small kid, but she has to have that to strengthen her gait, right? I mean, I know this person. Now, obviously, when we run the tool, IQ Astro, it shows you on the right, Ananda Mangalam, Veera Hanuman worship is necessary. Luckily, this person's dad visited India and bought a small idol of Hanuman and took it back to the US. So Ketu or Saturn, I mean here in this case both, and Mercury hitting Mars. So this is what's happening. The numbers are quite high. So the affected is body and life, and the cause is elderly affectionate woman like mother. So this is basically Piturs living in mother's house. Why would somebody say Piturs? Is because the position of Saturn marks where the Piturs are. Imam yama prastaramasit angirobhihi pitrbis samvidanaha. That is what the Vedic chant, Vedic scriptures say about Saturn. So then what we do is we go into Dasha Bhukti. When do we know? I mean, the tool IQ Astro does this for you. You go in and then you check from today, current period, 10 years back, when this child might have gotten affected by this dosham. Now, when we look at the Dasha Bhukti, she was or she is running till 2028 Venus, under which in the year of 2015, so Venus Dasha, Mars Bhukti, and then there are many Antara Dashas. If you notice this, we clicked on Anantamangalam Anjaneyas, right? So that is why it's flagging these periods. But now if you notice 23/5/2015, which is a little slanted, right? And so that period, the Mercury period, ended on 23/05/2015. Now Ketu started on 23rd May 2015. So there is a small period in between where this is extremely sharp. So under Mars, Mercury and Ketu very high in the level, right? I mean lighter red, pink, right? You see these things coming together. Now what is the significance of that? So let's go to the next slide. You will see this more clearly. I've zoomed in. The last 3 lines, if you see 23rd, right? So this is a long period, 1 month, 30 days, and then the next one is 25 days. Yet, we are talking about the interface where Mercury, Ketu both become very strong. They are right below Mars, and that's where this dosham is going to hurt. So this we have looked at from the Dasha Bhukti of the person, right? Now we go and look at what happened on 23rd May 2015. Where are the planets in which constellations, right? So she was obviously born 2005, so 10 years later Ketu is positioned opposite side. I already mentioned 18.5 to 19 years, a full rotation cycle. So that's what this is. So from there, Ketu, if you notice, Ketu hits Mars, right? Ketu has a 9th aspect. Whichever planet has Ketu from itself in the 5th area, which means Ketu is a 9th aspect, right? This is a problematic space for Ketu to be. Because 5th is father, children, and education and so on. If Ketu swallows those things in a person, that's a problem. Now, for planets too, for Mars, an enemy of Ketu being in Mercury's house, which is Virgo, powerfully situated, can hit Mars and take it down, take the power down quite badly. Now, who is aiding Ketu? Saturn's 3rd aspect. If you notice, Saturn is retrograde, which means its aspects reverse. So, 3rd aspect looks at Ketu. Saturn is a friend of Ketu. So, Saturn is disciplined yet lazy. Ketu is inaction. So, they are together. So, there is a taste of Saturn in it, and Ketu uses that to go aspect Mars. And who is in conjunction, near conjunction with Mars? Its enemy, Mercury. Now, it also has a spin with Venus. Venus could come there as well, and Mercury could go to its own house, Gemini. So, top row, third house from the left, you have Mars being strangled almost by Ketu. Mars is the house of blood. Mars also has been affected in this young lady's foot area, right? So this time that is noted in her Dasha Bhukti, which was drawn the day she was born, I mean the 80, 90 years they do. So that day, that time period, which is 23rd May 2015 was marked back then. Now, how this person got affected that day, got hospitalized, and there had to be a transfusion of plasma for this person. Plasma got vitiated somehow. So we have one thing that is very static. I mean, the moment your life is born, right? You're born. We write Dasha Bhukti and we write it for 80 odd years, right? Then the doshams all show up because of planets and so on. But there is no guarantee that Kala, which is time, the motion of planets, will stick to that, right? This person showed that date in their Dasha Bhukti, and on that specific date, somehow, that is a miracle. I mean, we don't understand what exactly is happening here, how life is situated, what was written for 80 years from the time she was born, how that coincides with the current rotation of planets. That's beyond me. I'm not going to explain. But if you notice, this date, Mars gets completely subdued, right? And she got hospitalized. Now, if you notice, if you put both together, this happens in IQ Astro. You can go in and check. You can load yourself on the right, and on the left you can load Kala. On that specific day, right on the side, you will notice the doshams that are happening that day. Veera Hanuman showing up. Veera Hanuman is Anandamangalam Anjaneyer. It shows up there apart from other things. So when it shows up like that, you must understand that something needs to be done. So this is not specific to today. You can check any time earlier, like if you go a month earlier and slowly check if something is going to be really hitting you hard. You could walk through IQ Astro and say, oh, is it going to be a problematic time right now? And you can do that. And then you have to propitiate or take steps appropriately. This tool is not available to everybody, meaning somehow the most deserved people get in, and then they're able to figure out what needs to happen, and they propitiate and they escape. This friend of mine called me from New Jersey to help with Mars. I went to Kandakotam, which is near Evening Bazaar in Paris Corner. And then I also went to Rahu Bhagwan temple, Nirriti Devi temple, which is here, Mundahak Kanyaman. I went there in Mylapore and I prayed, and this person was okay. After the transfusion, she was better. She was hospitalized and in the ICU for some time. She spent some time there, but luckily, because of the blessings and of course all the hard work by the doctors there, she recovered and she started going back to school. And you may look at the Dasha Bhukti and say, how come this person has so many doshams, right? That is because that is how she was born. I mean, what had happened before? Was there an issue with spotting and things like that? We don't know. So, I mean, that is why this is a tool where you can look at yourself. You can't look at another person because you don't know the history. I was going to talk about the tool and how it is able to show you all these things. But if there is an intersection between your Dasha Bhukti and Kala Purusha, there is definitely something that's going to affect you. That is given. And that how it comes together on the dates you have already been affected, you can verify. But how that happens is beyond the tool, beyond any astrologer, and that is not explained. That is the magic of time. That is where you open the Pandora's box. I mean, if you figure out Dasha Bhukti, how it relates to cycle of 120 years and how exactly one is born so that they can get affected on a specific date, that is beyond my knowledge at this point, and it's beyond imagination. That is the miracle. That's the Pandora's box when you open. So, thank you for listening. Hope this helps you. If you have IQ Astro tool, please go ahead and verify. There are so many things that you can learn. A quick note, if you look at the picture, Earth has a radius of 6,400 kilometers, 4,000 miles, and 5 degrees. I mean, I spoke to you about the dinner plate, which is tilted 5 degrees from the ecliptic. That's the moon, right? Orbit of the moon. Now, what is 5 degrees? 5 degrees is, you don't expect it to be much if you look at the scale of the Earth and the moon. But the distance between Earth and moon is 384,400 kilometers. I mean, that's very large compared to the Earth's radius, right? So 5 degrees we have calculated to be 33,631 kilometers, right? Nearly 5 times the radius of Earth. So just to show you, the shadow of the moon, right, will pass way above the Earth when moon is at high position, right? Now, so that is something that is very interesting, because we don't believe the 5 degrees is actually quite a lot. But notice the sun. The sun is about 389 times the distance between the moon and Earth, which is very far away. The sun to us looks like the moon itself. I mean, the same disk, right? Because eclipse, the moon fits the sun. So look at the picture and you will see the shadow of the moon going up above. I mean, given the distance of the sun, which is quite nearly 400 times, it's as good as being at infinity, and the shadow of the moon will fall. There will be parallel rays from the sun to the Earth and through the moon. I mean, the shadow, the rays of the shadow will be parallel to the rays of the sun. So at the high point at 5 degrees, the shadow of the moon goes somewhere else, somewhere above the Earth, parallel to the ecliptic, right? Why is it a big thing? Because given the tilt of Earth of 23 degrees, right, you will notice how it could actually go above the pole. It could cross the pole. If it's 5 times during any Amavasya, then when it is close to the lunar node, obviously it's going, there is an alignment between the sun and the moon and the Earth. And so if the alignment is not exact, right, you will see it go towards the poles and it cross over the poles, because Earth is also spinning. It takes quite a bit of time for the moon to pass through 3 degrees, right? 3.33 degrees is 1 padam, and 1 nakshatram in the whole day is about 24 hours. So the moon moves slowly across the sun, and that will be about 6 hours, right? We will at least see it for 3 hours, and during those 3 hours the Earth will spin and there will be an arc, and that is something that needs to be appreciated.